Hello, beautiful people. This is going to be a short one, but I finally got my test kit in the mail. If anybody doesn't know, I went to a geneticist and he suggested that I should test out my FMO3 gene. And there were a couple of testing labs, there were a few, actually only two testing labs that only specifically test the FMO3 gene. And I was able to either get one from Fulgent or one from Genetic Potential Labs or something like that. Let me switch around. Anyways, both of them were very expensive. The other one was like 840 something dollars, and this one is $541. So still fucking expensive as shit. Open it up. I haven't really looked into this. I don't even know what this is. What is this? Biological substance? What? What is this? Okay, this looks like what the saliva sample. Let me put this saliva sample. Okay. And this is, I guess this is where you put the saliva sample. And I guess this is the instructions or whatever. Yeah, so I have insurance, right? But the problem is it didn't take any of my insurance. So this is why I had to pay like hundreds of dollars for this one test thing, for this to test one FMO3 gene. But I think there's some good news. There's some good news in terms of the exome sequencing thing. So with the exome sequencing, I thought it was gonna be like thousands of dollars, but I just did some light research on it, and it said like exome sequencing costs somewhere around like $800 to $1,000. So it's not gonna be over close to 10 grand or 2 grand, or hopefully it's not 2 grand, but at least from what I've read on the internet. Now maybe it might be different from place to place, and maybe it's based on insurance and blah blah blah. But it seems like, well, hopefully it will be somewhere $1,000 and under. Who knows? But let me get this FMO3 thing happening, and then I gotta wait to 2 to 4 weeks to get a result, and then we go into FMO, not the FMO, the exome sequencing, where it measures all the different genes and stuff. I'm in there right here. Have a good night, day, whatever.
All right. On May 22nd, it was collected, 2023. And now I actually finally got the test results back for the FMO3 gene. So this is from Fulgent. I had to pay somewhere around $540 to take it myself. And this was like some type of self-pay because if I used the other method or I used it with my insurance, it was going to cost somewhere around $800. So with the results, let's just get to the results here. It says this. No clinically significant sequence or copy number variants were identified which are sufficient for a molecular diagnosis. However, one variant of potential clinical relevance is reported. And when you go down to this part, it talks about some other things that I'm not completely sure what it means. But it says zygosity inheritance, a homozygous risk allele was detected. This variant alone is not sufficient to cause clinical symptoms, but has been shown to be associated with increased susceptibility. Hmm. It talks about variant type, genomic change, something something. Has some weird, I guess, identification. This variant is in the DPNSP database. This variant is predicted to result in a single amino acid substitution of glue and lyse condone. They're speaking in a lot of scientific jargon. Then it says variant in cases. This common polymorphism, again, this is some scientific identification, has been associated with trimethylmanure in several studies, and a low but detectable decrease in protein activity, vitro and vivo, has been demonstrated. Although at least one study failed to reproduce such an effect, however, the high representation in healthy controlled populations makes it unlikely that this variant by itself has a disease causing effect, but it is thought to be pathogenic when represented in context of specific haplotypes. particularly when in combination with cis, with again this weird identification. Further, a pathogenic effect of homozygous, another weird scientific identification, and another weird scientific, I don't know, assortment of words and letters, by itself has implied the high representation of both variants and their linked haplotypes in general population has been attributed to a masking effect of a common promoter variant with increased expression, which is found in the majority of individuals with the combined, and again, it goes with like these weird assortment of letters and numbers. Now let's go to variant and controls. They say this variant has been observed at a frequency of 37.98. I don't know what that means. The highest allele frequency that this variant has been observed at in any subpopulation with available data is 46.28 in the African population. So whatever this variant is, it's a fairly high variant within the African population. There are 21348 homozygous control individuals for this variant. The Broad Institute Genome Ad database was used for this analysis. So I'm not going to go any further. I guess they talk about the methods, limitations, and the disclaimer because the stuff I just read right now is just confusing and I don't know what it means. That is why on July 5th of this year, I'm going back. Actually, I'm doing a virtual visit with the geneticist so he can break down exactly what all this means and what I should do going forward. Another thing is, since they found something weird, they said, at least within this study, it says it's not cause for a genetic disease, but there's some weird variants. Um, Maybe this will halt the possibility of me doing the exome sequencing. I remember in the last video I said that the exome sequencing is going to cost 800 to 1,000 something dollars, but that's not actually true. I just actually got some information back that showed when I was discussing with like I guess the nurses that were in the Mayo Clinic, they said with my insurance it would cost somewhere around 4 grand, but if I do like a self pay, it will cost 1,500. So I'm unsure if we're going to proceed with the exome sequencing. Today is June 25th, 2023. So we'll see what happens uh, next week or the next 2 weeks when I actually have to visit the doctor. But yeah, that's it. Everybody else have a good day.